All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Claws to the Wall. My name is Ethan Quintero, and joining me today is...
I'm Ethan Hamilton.
Kory Guidry. What's up, guys?
And today we're just going to be talking about the bubble, the NBA restart, our thoughts on that, how everything's going so far. And then at the end, we're going to touch on the new schedule for Texas State football. So for the opening question, I just want to ask y'all, what's been the biggest surprise thus far, NBA restart? Which team, which players? What are y'all thinking?
Well, when I first heard that question, the first thing I thought of was the biggest surprise for me is how successful just the bubble has been. You know, like they just put out like the other day that like they had 0 positive tests for like a couple consecutive times. Like the NBA has really done a good job with this, like in showing other leagues like that the bubble system really works, like in keeping the virus like from getting in, I guess. So on that front, yeah, I'm surprised with how successful it's been, and you got to give them credit.
I agree. It's really remarkable. Literally nobody's gotten sick. And you've had a couple people leave and come back. Lou Will.
Shout out Lou Will.
Went to go get himself some breasts.
Yeah.
Some chicken strips.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Chicken strips. Yeah.
How about you, Soft Hands?
For me, honestly, like I'm going to piggyback with what Kory was saying. Like, what is it, 3 straight weeks with like 0 positive cases? Like, they've kind of been nailing it so far, trying to keep everybody in. But, I mean, it's the first month, and the playoffs haven't started yet. So I wonder how it's going to work, like, once teams started being eliminated and they don't play – they're not, like, actually consumed with games every other day. Like, what are they going to do with their free time? So –
You know, if a team gets eliminated, they're going to leave the bubble, like, and just go home? Or are they just –
I think they can stay. But if they, like, once they leave, they can't come back. Like, it's like – because I think it's kind of redundant if, like, you get eliminated and leave and then want to come back. It's like, pick,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess all you'll have to do is just watch the playoffs, right? Just sit on, like, LeBron and CP – was it – not CP3. Who went and watched the Blazers? Was it LeBron and CP3? Am I thinking the right thing?
Well, I know that there have been some players watching other, like, games. Like,
Mm-hmm.
At least someone's –
Yeah, you got some fans. For me, the biggest surprise, I mean, yeah, not having any COVID positive tests is a big one, but the Suns are 4-0 so far. They're the only undefeated team. Devin Booker is balling out. Everyone saw his clutch mid-range elbow fadeaway jumper over Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. That was just insane because they were not doing well. Like, everyone thought they were just kind of invited to be nice. You know, you can get a couple games in, you know, we'll let the young guys run around, you know, easy wins. And they are balling out. They might, I think they're the 10th seed right now. They just passed the Spurs.
And the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
That's crazy.
Pretty good. Like, honestly, I'm really surprised in the way. Not really Booker, because Booker's been a hooper. I mean, but I'm really surprised, like, the supporting cast has really stepped up. Ricky Rubio has been playing phenomenal. Same with DeAndre Ayton. Both those two guys, I think, have been, like, the biggest changes I've seen them. Plus, Ayton's, like, actually, like, healthy because, like, before when the season started, I think he was suspended for, like, 20 or something games for, like, PED use or something like that. So, like, this back, like, in full rhythm, it really helps the Suns team. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, like, at all, but, like, it's nice to see them. They're going to need a lot of luck to go their way. And right now, there's another team that's in the 8th spot that I think is hotter than them. So
I agree. I think the Blazers were actually, if anyone's going to beat the Grizzlies out, I think it's going to be the Blazers, unfortunately. And they're one of the teams, similarly to how you said that Ayton and a couple guys came back from injury and whatnot. They've benefited probably more than anybody from the NBA restart because they had such a long break and they had so many injuries. And now they got Nurkic back and they have a couple other guys back. They're playing big minutes. Trent Brown came out of nowhere. That dude's hitting threes. Gary Trent, not Trent Brown. Yeah, he is. Whatever. There is a player named Trent Brown. He's probably not as good as Gary Trent, but that dude is balling out right now. It is crazy. And go ahead, Kory.
No, you go ahead. I was just going to piggyback on that.
I was just going to ask, how disappointing are the Pelicans right now?
Zion looks slow, dog. Like that leave of absence that he took at the beginning part of, like, whenever they were having training camps, it looks like it took a toll on him. For whatever reason, what happened with him? Like, it looks like it took a severe toll. He looks slow. Like, Because Zion, like, he's still gonna get you like 20 and 10.
That's what's
He's not even like a force. Like now, he's not even getting you the 20. He's kind of giving you like 10 and 10. But like for the number 1 overall pick, that's kind of disappointing, especially like how good he was playing before the restart happened. Like he looks like extremely like out of shape.
Yeah, that's gonna be something that he's gonna have to deal with for a while, right? I mean, is he 19 now?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah,
19 years old. I mean, you only get bigger, and he's just gonna have to. He's gonna have to try to keep his weight down naturally. I mean, pretty much the only reason why they put the Pelicans in the bubble probably is just so Zion could be on TV. I mean, don't y'all think that's probably
for sure? And they gave them such an easy schedule. Like everyone thought that the Pelicans were going to just kind of breeze into that 9th seed and then beat out the Grizzlies because everybody wants to see Zion play LeBron. But it's just getting further and further away from happening.
Yeah, I could think AD is lucky he don't have to see Zion. I've been saying that for a minute. In those 2 matchups they played the Lakers, he was getting bullied by Zion. He was getting bullied. I was telling my buddies, I was like, yeah, the Lakers are nice, but AD don't want to see Zion. That's a fact. AD don't want to see him. And, like, to go back, like, the Grizzlies have really been free-falling. I don't think they've won a single game.
I don't think so. I think you're right. I think they've lost every single game they played, even to the Spurs, who were literally on their last leg. And I'm a Spurs fan, but the Spurs dismantled the Grizzlies. That was embarrassing.
And Ja Morant is playing horrific. Like, he's not playing good at all. He's shooting really poorly, too.
It just goes to show how the break can be monumental for some teams and then so detrimental to others. It's crazy.
The Blazers are only half a game back of the 8th seed right now because they just beat the Rockets. I hope the Blazers don't make it as a Rocket supporter. They seem to always give us trouble for whatever reason.
No, the Rockets, like, I'm a big, like, I can't stand Rockets fans. They're so delusional. I can't stand Rockets fans, but they've been balling. They've been playing really good, like, from behind, especially, like, the Mavericks game. Like, whether you want to say that the Mavericks lost it more than the Rockets won it, the Rockets still won the game. You know what I mean? They were down by 7 for the last week.
They got out-rebounded like 20-something.
Yeah, and the Mavs had like 10-plus more turnovers than them. Like, it was crazy. They played a great game. And then who they played? They played Milwaukee, too. They did a really good job coming back on Milwaukee. And then the Lakers last night, they starved off a late run by the Lakers to blow them out at the end without LeBron. That was pretty.
Yeah. How about Harden playing defense on Giannis after they got their little beef going on?
I like it. I like it.
The Russ are playing they're playing really good off-ball defense. Each of them are averaging like 2 or 3 steals. They're playing really good off-ball defense.
They're playing like it's their last chance to win a championship. And honestly, it might be. Like this might be the best chance they have for a while to get into the finals. I still don't think it's going to happen, but they're playing really good basketball right now.
Since we're sticking on like the West, like Kory, how do you think I know the Lakers and the Clippers have been doing chill, but like what do you think are the missing, what have you been noticing from those 2 teams that they're lacking? I think both of those teams are both on very lows right now.
The Lakers and Clippers, what they're lacking?
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. The Clippers, they need to be playing really good defense. You know, I feel like their perimeter defense, at least, like when they're getting hands on. Paul George has been playing pretty well, don't y'all think?
Averaging 27, shooting 50 from 3. He's balling right now.
I still like. If you're asking me who do I think's the better team, I have to say the Clippers. But I'd rather it be the Lakers. But it's just like every time I think the Lakers are gonna prove that, even though they are the 1 seed, like just come out and have a dominant performance, they just kind of like let me down. And like I'm not sure. Like maybe y'all have a better pinpoint on the reason why. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Ethan, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I think the thing that the Lakers are missing the most is they lost a lot of perimeter defense with Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo being out, and their 3 balls haven't been falling as much. Thankfully, they've been able to lean on AD a lot, and AD's been balling. You know,
he's bad against the Rockets, though. I give him that. Like PJ and them locked him up, but I mean, LeBron didn't play, so.
Luckily for the Lakers, I mean, other than that Rockets game, which was a weird outlier. I don't know how PJ Tucker could lock down Anthony Davis, but other than that, I don't think there's a team that can really stop Anthony Davis. If he continues to ball the way he's been playing, the Lakers I think are the favorites. But because there's nobody on the Clippers that's going to stop him. Montrezl Harrell's a great player. He's a dog, but he's, 6'8"? There's no way. But I think it's just that for the Lakers and having to integrate Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith. They're both good offensive players, but I don't know if they have the same impact as Bradley and Rondo did.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And for the Clippers, I think it's just a lack of chemistry. They haven't played that much basketball together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at the end of games, who's going to take the shot? Lou Will's a closer. PG's a closer. Kawhi's a closer. They saw LeBron lock down Kawhi and PG at the end of that game. They can't do that. They have to be able to finish games, especially when they have all these great players. I agree with Kory. I think on paper they're the best team, but they just can't seem to put it together when they're all on the court at the same time, which is weird.
For sure.
You think there's any chance the Lakers and Clippers end at the 1 and 2 seed that they're not seeing each other in the conference finals?
It for me, it's like it's a matchup thing. Like before we move on to that, like what you were saying, like with the Lakers, LeBron's been playing bad offensively. Like defensively, he's really stepped up his game, especially that Clippers game. He had that moment with PG and Kawhi. Even though it looked like Kawhi was he wanted the ball back and PG kind of took that shot. But I mean, like the Lakers offensively, like LeBron's not in it. It seems like he's not ready to like move into that second year. And the Clippers, like they have no post defense like whatsoever. Like AD ate Zubac and Joakim Noah's lunch all day that game. Like on the perimeter, they're fine. Like in the 3-4 games they played the Lakers, like they've been doing a pretty solid job on LeBron and on the other guys. It's really been AD who's gone nuts against them. And I think it's a matchup thing. Like I think the Lakers would kind of prefer it if they see the Rockets. I don't think the Clippers want to see the Rockets only because like in the 2 games they played, Russ and Harden have played pretty phenomenal in both those games, and they kind of lacked like that guard defense. You know what I mean? To like someone to attack Russ and Harden offensively, and then have to guard them like on the next possession. I think the Rockets kind of get away with that because they get PG or Rocco to guard Kawhi and Paul George like on defense, and then on offense they kind of just do whatever, switch on them. So it's a bad matchups thing too. Also, like I don't think the Lakers want to see the Blazers.
No, they don't.
CJ and Dame work them out every time. They don't have the guards to chase them boys around. And especially with Nurkic backs, like Nurkic is a legit center. Like I think he'll slow AD down a little bit, like because AD's still gonna get his 25 and 15, but like Nurkic really helps their defense a lot.
I think the Blazers are going to end up getting the 8th seed because, like you said, the Grizzlies hasn't been playing that great. So, I mean, I'm not sure how many games are left, but they're only a half a game back. So, then that means that they'd be seeing the Lakers 4 games. So, that means they'd be seeing the Lakers in the first round.
I think it'd be really interesting. I doubt this happens, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. If the Grizzlies keep dropping and then the Spurs and the Blazers move up to the 8th and 9th seed, that'd be fun. That's just what I want as a Spurs fan. It's probably not going to happen, but fingers crossed. But I want to ask y'all, because we're on the topic of Blazers versus Lakers, a possible first-round matchup. We know LeBron's better than probably everybody on the court, but the Lakers' perimeter defense is the reason why the Blazers have such a great chance because of Dame and CJ. But I'm talking about third options here. Who would you rather have on your team come playoff time, Kuzma or Melo?
That question is an insult to Melo.
I love Melo. I think Melo's balling right now. Melo's much better than Kuz.
Who's better defensively, though?
See, I don't even know about that one. Kuz ain't that good of a defender.
He really not. Like he.
I don't think he is.
I know we're ragging on him, but Kuzma's actually been playing pretty good in the bubble. Like he's kind of doing his own thing. So I'm not for him.
I mean, after his rookie year, now like I just feel like he should have stepped his game up a couple like levels, at least what we saw from him as a rookie. But maybe he was already near the top of like what he.
I think he's peaked
since he was an old rookie. Remember, he came in at like
23, 24,
23. He's older, so maybe he was already like to the close to his ceiling. You know.
I think he's already hit his ceiling. I think he's a good player, but I don't know if he's a third option. I always thought he'd be a better 6-man than he would be a third option in the starting lineup.
For sure.
Because he's a walking bucket, but he can't play defense. He's
He's not a
not
specialized
consistent.
player. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a specialized player.
He's not a spot up shooter. So, but Melo's been playing very well. Skinny Melo. Shout out to Skinny Melo. He's balling.
Happy for that man making his comeback.
For sure. Let's move on towards the East. Like, what are y'all's reactions to like how the Heat and the Bucks and the news that like what's his name Simmons is going to be out for a long time? Indefinitely, they said.
So to me, it's pretty much the Bucks conference to lose. I'm impressed with the Raptors though.
The Raptors are moving up. Yeah,
they play good basketball. Nick Nurse is a really good coach. They play good basketball, so they're impressive.
I
don't
think
know about Boston.
I don't know about Boston. I don't really know about Boston anymore, man. They're such a hit and miss team at this point. They have the talent.
Yeah, they really need post defense, like especially to go up against like because it's really like you said, Kory, it's the Bucks to lose. Like the team that matches up best with them that I don't think is like anywhere near their level. It goes back to matchup. The Heat match up so well with the Bucks. It's like it's crazy. They got like the best guy in the league in defending Giannis has been Bam. Like Bam, he has the worst percentage against Bam. And they have a tons of guys. They have him, Kelly Olynyk, and Butler that he has to get through before he gets to the rim. Like, they have really good post defense, and that's really what the Celtics are lacking. They got Enes Kanter, and what is it, Daniel Ty or whatever his name is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Daniel Ty.
None of them are Bam. So
and they got Taco Fall, man.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Don't disrespect my man Taco.
Celtics are just really missing that post defense to, like, go up against a team like them or Toronto against Siakam. Like, and with Toronto, like, for a team to make the finals, they got to have a superstar. And they don't got one in Toronto. Like, they got a great supporting cast, Lowry, Van Fleet, all of them, Gasol, they're studs, but they don't got a superstar. Siakam's not there yet. Like,
you know who the Raptors remind me of a little bit? Like the early 2010s, late 2000s Spurs. How they were always like in competition, but nobody thought they'd get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
They were a tough out. Every once in a while they got to the finals, like in 2007 and 2014 and 13. But they remind me of that team. I think Pascal will eventually become kind of like that Tim Duncan. He's not going to be the best power forward ever, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? Just that quiet superstar that eventually gets to the finals. But they're going to be a tough out for sure. They have that ensemble cast, like you said.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Giannis better make the finals if he doesn't want to get ripped. By me, at least, because all we've been hearing is how he's the best player in the league for the past, 2 years. And if he can come out of this East, which I think he will, but even if he doesn't win the championship, he's going to start hearing those. Remember, about 2010, I guess, or 2011 after LeBron lost to the Mavericks. He's going to start hearing some stuff like that.
He's got the Toronto series and the Miami series. If he ends up playing, I think them playing Miami is kind of set in stone because Miami will kind of be playing the Pacers, and I got Miami beating the Pacers, even though it's going to be close. It's kind of set in stone. They're going to face Miami in the second round. But if they can, it's them in Toronto they got to worry about. Those two teams match up so well with Milwaukee that they got to.
They don't come out of the East, man. Giannis is probably gone from Milwaukee after this year or next year, whenever his contract's.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't make the finals, he's leaving. If he makes the finals, even if he loses, I think he'll stay.
Did he opt out at this year?
No, he's still got 2 more years. This year and next year.
Okay.
I think
got to win though.
Middleton's going to be the key. Him and Brogdon. They paid a lot of money for those two.
They did.
Especially Brogdon when they could have had, or not Brogdon, Bledsoe when they could have had Brogdon.
They maxed out money.
So they did max out Middleton. They're gonna need buckets from him, even though he played great that Rockets game. Middleton did.
He's a good player.
He really is.
So y'all are out on the Sixers. You don't think the Sixers are going anywhere?
Simmons is out. I'm done with him. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Simmons is a terrific player, but let's see if everyone that says that those two players, Simmons and Embiid, everyone says that they're incompatible. Yeah, on the court because their games are so similar. They're always inside. So if we get rid of Simmons and we put somebody in there that just passes it down to Embiid, let's see if Embiid can dominate like I think that he can, except against maybe Giannis. But there's nobody's bigger than Embiid. Maybe AD, but I think even then Embiid can kind of body down because AD's a power forward. He's no center.
AD's also kind of skinny compared to him.
So maybe they go past the first round, but Simmons is a very difficult player to replace, so maybe not.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of the Sixers. I don't think they're –
I just don't think Brett Brown's the coach to lead them.
I'm not on them either.
When what's his name left, I thought that their chances were gone.
Jimmy Butler? Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, yeah.
Which I don't know why they didn't pay. They paid Tobias Harris and not him. Like, it blows my mind a lot. Don't get me wrong, Brett Brown's cool, but, like, Brett Brown is not a good enough coach for that team. He's not what they need. He's not what they need. And they're going to soon realize it. I think he's getting fired after this year.
For sure.
And I think whoever comes in, I think this is the last season we're going to see of Simmons and Embiid. I would honestly trade Embiid because only, 26, 27? Like, he's about to start his prime, and he's injury-ridden. Like, I think it's a no-brainer to keep Simmons.
I agree.
And then just go the route of where Milwaukee was, where just give him shooters and see what happens.
Where would you want Embiid to go?
Miami would be nice.
Wow.
You trade because they got so much cap room.
If they trade him, would they trade him to the East though?
I don't know. Honestly, I would talk to Miami and be like, hey, give us Nunn, give us what's his name?
Hero maybe?
Hero, give us Nunn, give us Hero, both shooters. Yeah. And then give us what is it called? Give us Kelly Olynyk or something. Give us one third player. And then you switch. So you get on the front court, you get Bam, and you got Embiid to run the offense through.
Butler being a dog.
And Butler can just be the third option. And then
that'd be tough.
And then the Sixers, you finally get Simmons at the point, and you have him, Hero, Nunn, Tobias Harris. You got shooters all around him. I think that's the trade to make. I don't think they'll do it. Get too much pride, but that's the trade to make.
Dude, if they did do that, that Heat team would look very similar to like the 06 Heat team that won the chip. With D. Wade, they had Shaq, and at power forward, they moved Alonzo Mourning. It was stacked. That'd be cool. I like that. All right, y'all want to move on to some Texas State football, talk about the new schedule?
For sure.
Kory, why don't you explain it to us a little bit? So what exactly is going down?
Well, I mean, pretty much the NCAA came out, or like most, I'm not sure, I guess it would be conferences more. Conferences are deciding to only play like conference-only schedules. So a lot of schools are going to that. A lot of FCS, or not FCS, but like Division II, or what am I trying to say here? FBS Division II, like are playing that were playing Division I, like getting super big checks, you know, like when Texas State goes and plays A&M, they get a fat check. And like that's could be like, I read an article somewhere that could be more than half of like the income that they even make for the whole football season, because they're not pulling numbers like those big schools. So for a lot of smaller schools, this is like, that sucks for them really bad, you know?
Yeah.
But Texas State, they're playing SMU. I don't know how they worked that out. I guess they just get on the phone and like decide to play each other. And we're still playing UTSA. So the schedule is pretty similar. The first game is going to be August 29th. So we're not getting that big FBS Power 5 opponent to give us a check, but at least, you know, we're getting to play some out of conference.
How many games less are we playing? Are we playing any less games?
I think one.
Just one less game?
So it was last year. It was A&M, SMU.
You're right.
Did we play UTSA last year?
No.
Mm-mm. Okay, so Texas State's got UTSA on the schedule, so I guess the same.
Did you already talk about how they're starting earlier?
No, I didn't. I didn't mention that, but they are August 29th is
instead of September 12th or whatever it's going to be. It's going to be interesting. Do you guys think they're going to finish the season? I really don't think they're finishing it. It's not looking good.
Tough.
It's hard to see how.
A bubble like NBA did, you know what I mean? Like you control so many bodies, you know what I mean? So many bodies in football. Players, coaches, trainers, the red-shirted people.
It'll definitely be tough. I don't see how they could do it.
Especially all the kids coming in from out of state. They're coming in this next week or so.
Yeah. Did you see that Texas Tech, when they came back for spring practice, 44 of their 60 players tested positive?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And none of them knew they had it because they were asymptomatic. So they just came and they had it somehow, and they've been spreading it forever. So if that happens, and those dudes were just at home, they were chilling, and these guys are going to be going to classes. They're going to be out with their friends. You can't control that many kids. So
college kids from socializing, unfortunately.
For sure. We're going to see that in the next month. We're going to see that in the next month. It's going to be interesting to see because, honestly, this year was going to be a pretty promising year for Texas State football.
No, I was super excited. I mean, we can get to just the football stuff in a minute, but, I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore, the obvious.
Yeah, no fans, too. I doubt we're going to have any fans at the games.
At least not until later on in the season.
Maybe we might get, the last 1 or 2 games. They might let us in there.
What happens whenever, let's say they play 3 games and now we're going to play Troy and we're looking good, but all of a sudden Troy's quarterback, running back, whatever, some offensive lineman, head coach all get test positive. It's now they cancel that game. How does that work for standings and things like that?
Yeah.
It's definitely unprecedented stuff.
For sure.
It's unfortunate, too, because we talked about earlier in the year how we all thought this was going to be the year where we went at least 50, if not even above 500.
Yeah.
So
we can talk about
can you do?
Exactly for a little bit because we do have the quarterback competition that Coach Spavital said he hasn't decided on yet. They're still battling it out. Tyler Vitt and Brady McBride. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, just all the recruits that we got, the size that they added, the size and the receiving core. Spavital's calling plays now. So
did he not do that last year?
Didn't call plays.
Oh, okay.
He was heavily involved in creating the game plans and the offense, but he didn't actually call plays. So he's going to call plays this year.
That's going to be really dope. Hopefully they can we can actually finish the season and see how well that team's going to look. I'm actually kind of surprised that the battle's still going on because whenever I heard the news that Brady McBride was coming, I thought it was going to be a given that he was going to get already in position.
Based on the way Vitt played last year, just what I watched, Brady McBride's athletic and he can move.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, y'all have any thoughts on that? I guess it's kind of hard to know where we're going to be in the next couple weeks. So.
Wait. Then we also got the new JUCO transfer, Brock Sturgis.
Yeah, several transfers. I mean, I went to practice before
Corner's nice.
Yeah, I went to practice before spring break, and then all the COVID stuff. It was right before one of the last practices, and I'm just looking at the players and Coach Spavital mentioned it. They just look like D1 football players. They're bigger. The safeties they brought in 6'1", 220 pounds. They brought in some athletes.
For sure.
So,
well, hopefully we can get those games to y'all on KTSW 899. If you can't actually go sit in the stands, you can listen on radio. But it sounds like we are running out of stuff to talk about, so we're going to go ahead and cut this episode off. I'm Ethan Quintero, and today we had Soft Hands Hamilton and Kory Guidry. Make sure to go follow us on Twitter and Instagram and our YouTube channel at KTSW 899. And listen to the radio station, of course, and as always. And thank you so much. Have a great day.
See you guys.